Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-show live chat, where we're going to be discussing the show that just happened. How's it going, everybody? Now, as people are going to be coming into the stream, just going to mention a couple of the rules. I think most people that are going to be here by now know them, but for those of you who might be new, we only have a couple rules here. One, no toxicity. Please be kind to each other in the chat. And two, no outright spoilers. And that's about it. So 1 second. Just going to refresh something here. Perfect. There we go. Sorry, something was showing up weird for me. So, yeah, Nelson Mandela. Oi, oof. Big week for Demi. Not the most flattering end to the segment there. Yeah, thank you, Aiden, for watching. You should check out the show if you have a chance. But thanks for checking out the channel. Yeah, a lot of emotions this episode. Caitlyn just respecting women all over the place. Christina, I have no clue what she's doing with Blake, but whoo boy. And then we have the mystery woman coming into the picture. By the way, I'm almost certain, and I'll definitely be talking about this in my preview breakdown to come, but so in this kind of preview that they showed at the end of the episode there, Chris Harrison says, and there's like the most dramatic, we're changing the rules thing, and I think that's just going to be about Demi and Christian. So it's not going to be something like crazy thrown in there for the other people. It's just going to be Demi and Christian are allowed to give roses to each other or something like that. Or yeah, it'll be something along those lines. Thoughts on them keeping Demi and Christian? So I understand there are some people who, it's they think like they should go home together. They should ride off into the sunset and all of that. There's some people who are saying like they're just keeping them for television, and it's kind of I'm kind of okay with it, mostly because I think it's just like such a large platform for more of these relationships. That's mostly where I'm feeling. That's mostly what I'm feeling about it right now. And thank you for the super chat, by the way, Emily. Thank you. Like we'll see how it goes along. I think it is good for the franchise as well to have more of this stuff in there. Let's broaden the franchise a bit. It's 2019, so they're definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong. They're staying because it's good TV. A lot of this is happening all because it's good TV and it's good for the show. And Bree, and thank you for the super chat. Would we be so supportive if Demi brought a guy on? Yeah, like honestly, probably not. But we kind of live in an era where this is something that like we need to show our support for because there's still a lot of people who fight this kind of thing out there. So I'm all for it. I'm super support because at the end of the day, the one thing that like differentiates a Demi with Jed is that she was much more honest about this early on. So that's the difference as well, I think. Yeah, and people are so it will. Thanks for the super chat, by the way. Thanks for supporting the stream. And no, Derek will not go home. So he won't go home right away. He could go home the next time he's up for a rose ceremony. Remember, we have the men giving the roses out this week. They have the power again. So he'll be there for one more week, and then it'll be a whole nother week when the women give out roses. So he's not going to be going home because he's going to be giving out a rose. Um, but yeah, we have seen footage of him arguing with JPJ. So I feel like Derek is getting a bachelor edit. Yeah, he has suddenly shot up into the talks and into people's minds for bachelor. And I honestly can't. Yeah, and right on cue. Thank you so much, Emily, for the super chat. Derek for bachelor. I can't believe that this is something. If you had told me going into the season before any of the previews dropped or anything like that, that Derek, or even when the previews dropped, the first previews, that Derek would be considered, like, people would be saying Derek for bachelor, I would be shocked. But he has just handled himself remarkably well, and I think a lot of people are feeling like, it's like he deserves a love story, and also like no screen time for Mike this week. Apart from, there was a lot of stuff to go through that didn't involve Mike this week, but definitely Derek, like the dark horse coming out of nowhere. So definitely, I guess, yeah, a possibility now. Who would have thought? But good. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the upcoming episodes. But I don't think Derek will be ending up with anyone. I don't think he's going to be finding someone new, especially with them showing like a couple of the next arrivals are going to be Haley and Tajwan, and who are both going after JPJ. And that's so Derek's going to kind of be hung out to dry a bit. And yeah, the Goose and Crystal's wedding is finally going to be happening. Is that going to be happening next week? But it should be soon. It should be soon because like we've seen a certain amount of people that are in the background. So at the end of the day, it should be happening soon. And who do you think are coming next? Yeah, so we do know that Tajwan, she was eliminated night 1 of Colton's season. Basically, the only thing I have of her is a clip of her saying, "I could be the Tajwan for you," and Haley Ferguson, one of the two twins who we've seen many times. And War Machine Rocks, thank you for supporting the stream again. I've seen you, like, continuous support. Really, really grateful. The preview for this episode mentioned Christina interrupting Blake and Caitlyn as a Russian interference. I'm done. Yeah, I know. And yeah, so there's definitely a lot of strangeness happening there. Caitlyn, I've learned a lot about women should respect women, and also be like, I'm gonna crush her like a bug. But yeah, definitely some Russian interference there. But also, what is Christina doing? Like, what's her plan here? She's just like laser focused on Blake. Is it, one, she's into Blake, or two, is she like got some long con, like she's self-sacrificing her time in paradise to like string Blake along for week after week and just make sure he finds no one? Is this like what her secret intention is here? I don't know. But and Karen Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think we will lose Tayshia Paul Jones? No, I don't. Mostly, I'm going off of some of the sleuthing that we've done, where people have seen photos of John Paul Jones on a boat, which is apparently his boat, and then Tayshia posting an Instagram post as well, where she's on the same boat. And then Tayshia later deleted that. So I'm thinking John Paul Jones, he goes on these dates. In the same way that Chris B went on dates, even though he has a strong relationship with Katie, and that's also one where I think that is going to be, they are going to get engaged. I would say that's more likely, odds are that they are going to get engaged, as opposed to Tayshia and John Paul Jones. Simply because we've seen Katie talking about fantasy suites. So I'm just going with the odds there. But yeah, in the same way, I think they're both kind of chill people, and Tasha will say like, you know what, I want you to go on dates just to make sure, or yeah, you know what, if you want to go on, if you want to figure that out, go for it. He will go on the dates. It looks to be like he goes both with Tajwan and Haley Ferguson, because we've seen him from the preview that they just showed with Tajwan, and then also in the preview and in past previews of him like rubbing, sunscreen on Haley's butt. I think that will happen, but it doesn't mean that Tasha PJ are done. And why don't any of the cast follow each other? Apparently Tasha and JPJ don't, as well as Kaylin and Dean, because they're not allowed to. So part of the deal is that they're supposed to be discreet about anything that happens on the show, and people intensely follow this kind of stuff. While they're on the show, they're not supposed to have their phones. It's all meant to keep things hush hush about like who might end up together. And then as the show kind of dwindles down, they start to get their phones back, and you'll be seeing people following, like friends with each other on Twitter or messaging each other on Twitter and stuff like that, who are either following each other beforehand before they went on Paradise, or it's a bit different on Twitter. But I think it's mostly just it just has to do with like keeping spoilers out of it. People look into that stuff. And then if you follow, say you're Dylan and you follow Hannah, then you have to follow every single girl from the show. Every single woman who has been on the show you have to follow, because otherwise people say, oh, well, look, he's only following Hannah, so they must be together. But, and is anyone else thinking there was no chemistry between Chris and Jen? Yeah, he was, I'm not thinking that she's gonna change anything with Katie, personally. Yeah, and Tasha and JBJ, yeah, very strange, but like very wonderful. I don't know. It was like I couldn't help, but I think it just comes down to, it doesn't matter how strange it is. If it's genuine, if it seems genuine, that's what we want. Like, there's so much questioning in your mind of like, is this genuine? Are they like putting something on for the show, or are they just caught up in the limelight, or the kind of extraness that is Bachelor in Paradise or The Bachelor or Bachelorette? Are they being genuine? And when you see something that just seems so like truthful, him saying, like, oh, like I can't believe, like I like, I don't even think she's in my league, she's like the most beautiful woman I've ever pursued, and all that sort of stuff, and their kind of silly kissing conversation and everything. I think that's what like catches people more than, it doesn't matter, how strange or unusual the pairing might be. It was sort of the same thing with Evan and Carly. If you had seen that season of Bachelor in Paradise, it was the season, like there was like 3 engagements in one, including theirs, and they're still together and they have kids now. It was so weird, and Evan was to strike a comparison, if you don't know. A lot of people looked at him sort of in the way that people looked at Cam when he was on The Bachelorette. Evan on The Bachelorette, some people kind of had that same vibe. And he met Carly on there, and it just, like, he pursued her, she wasn't into it, and then he did some, like, like, he faked an injury so that she would come with the hospital to him, and then she started to like him, and then it became so kind of weirdly genuine, that even though it was a strange thing, people were liking them, or at least I was. And Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the stream. So and like, yeah, it's just that genuine stuff which we're not always sure of is on the show, and when we see it, it's so refreshing. So that's I think, to me, the root of my love of TayPJ. So Yeah, I love Derek. He's just everything like Demi, and it's so sad to see him sad, but it's good Demi is happy. I agree. I agree. He says some of the right things. He just says the right things, and it's good things to hear on TV. So I'm all for Derek. Why do you feel that Bachelor in Paradise seems to have more successful couples versus The Bachelor slash Bachelorette? I know The Bachelor and Bachelorette have more couples overall, but it's been on for more seasons slash years. Um, I think it's just it's the ability maybe to choose, like, I don't know. There's a lot of one sidedness on The Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I think maybe where some of the problems come um, is in that for so long in the relationship, one person has all the power, and that's just not how real relationships go. Um, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I can't answer with certainty, but that's the first thing that's the kind of my gut reaction to that. And Think Story, thank you so much for the super chat. What do we call Bachelor Fantake fans? Fan takers. Uh, yeah. What do we want to? What should we do? Should we do a poll or something? Like, how do we do that? But fan takers, sleuthers. No, no, no. That's too generic. We'll go with fan takers for now. I bet Derek is going to go for Tasha and JPJ is going to have none of that nonsense. Yeah, that's definitely what seems to be happening from the previews. Um, yeah, maybe I'll do a poll or something in a community blast if I come up with a couple of other. I'll come up with a couple of ideas. I'll do like a community poll, and I know I can do that on the YouTube sub thing, tinfoil hat orbit. Yeah, 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 something maybe with tinfoil hats will be in there. Something with sleuthing will be in there. Fan takers will be in there. I'll definitely do that. I'll come up with a couple of ideas. The tinfoil hat society. And Sarah, thank you so much for the super chat. Have any new opinions about Derek for Batch? Yes, absolutely. I'm absolutely thinking it. Um, so it's hard to say like, oh, he's going to be the Bachelor at this point. I think he's at this moment a dark horse. Um, but the fact that he is a part of the picture now is something that I would have never guessed going into the show. Right? Like, coming off of his engagement and then coming in here as kind of someone who's been around the block and not one of these fresh, exciting faces from The Bachelorette, I wouldn't have thought it was possible. But okay, what percentages would I give each of the Bachelor contenders? I'd probably put it at somewhere right now, like 40 Mike, 40 Peter, 20 Derek or something. But that's just based off of like tonight. Because it's Derek being a possibility is new. Um, so we'll see how that changes over the season. And sometimes you get a little you get a little of a buzz going for one person or another as the season goes along from like outside like the franchise on social media and from like articles that get released and stuff like that. Um, yeah, I might give at the moment. I'm still maybe it's like 41 Mike, 39 Peter. But yeah, 0.00001% Blake. Yeah, Blake. So you're saying there's a chance. Favorite couple so far? My personally right now, Tasha and JPJ. I think it's just fun. Yeah, and I did see that Chris H told Lauren in an interview they were holding off announcing their Bachelor, hoping for some to come out of nowhere on Bachelor in Paradise. That could maybe they could be talking about Derek. And I know people have also talked about Mike sort of saying like, "Oh, I'm not in talks for The Bachelor. No one's talked to me about it." Um, and I think that while there might be some truth to it, he obviously can't say anything. Um, so I wouldn't just like give up hopes based off of that Mike won't be The Bachelor. And Veronica, thank you so much for the super chat. What do you think will happen between Derek and JPJ, given the "don't insult my intelligence" part of the show in a preview? My guess right now, my gut is that he goes after Tayshia or something to do with Tayshia. I believe if we look back, the reason why I thought that was it came from something that was said in the preview. From a few, like I think it was the preview off of the first episode of the season, or I guess the second episode off of the first week. Um, so so that's what I'm thinking is going down there. And like to me, it would make sense that Derek does something like he goes after Tayshia or whatever, he flirts with Tayshia, because we've also seen, might I remind you, in the very first episode, Derek saying to Tayshia, like, "Oh, you might be someone who I was hoping would be here. You might be someone who I was wanting to talk to. I've been thinking about going into the show." It was a scene, a very small scene, very early on, first episode. So he could be doing that, and then John Paul Jones comes up and is like, "Yo, brah, what's up?" And he says, like, nothing. And he's like, "Don't insult my intelligence. I know what's up." That's my best guess right now. I mean, there's like other anything's possible, but that's my strongest guess. Excuse me. Nicole singing, then Clay trying to kiss her felt uncomfortable, as if it, you know what? I bet she could write dog jingles. I bet she could do it. Someone get her a Better Bowl contract right now. Am I shallow to think that I don't think Derek will be a good bachelor because he's not as attractive as the other guys? I mean, isn't that the definition of shallow? Like, no shade, but isn't that what that means? Yeah, I don't know why with all this mess, why they call it paradise. It's paradise, baby. How much of the Bachelor is staged? Did you read Colton's article about how they manipulated his season? Well, certainly we know that there's a lot of editing that goes into the process, and they have a lot of control over that. And we certainly know that there are things that they do stage. For example, Colton's fake ring box whole thing. And I mean, there's a lot of like going on with like the whole Demi stuff. As much as I stan Demi, there's a part of you that goes, like, is this something that they knew going into it and were like, yes, let's do this, right? Even though I totally believe that, I'm not saying like their relationship or anything is staged. Like we're not. I mean, we're getting our tinfoil hats on here right now, talking about staging everything, but it's very hard. It's very hard to tell because there are like real lives here, but there certainly seem like there are a couple things here and there that are staged. We definitely know that some of it is. Derek is like a dream dad. He's ready to, yeah, I know. Which is, and he like again, I think he's got actually a shot, but we'll see how things play out over there's a lot more paradise to happen, and you never know what the next episode could bring. Like, we didn't think Derek was we didn't think Derek was going to be at this stage, or at least I didn't. And what happens in Bachelor Winter Games? Yeah, so I don't think they are bringing back Winter Games But basically it was a tie-in event to the Olympics, where they brought on contestants from Bachelor series all around the world. So they had, the American contestants. A lot of them were American contestants. And they had contestants from like the German Bachelor or Bachelorette, and Australian and Canadian, which is where like Kevin from Bachelor in Paradise came from, and Benoit, and Yuki as well. It was like cringy Bachelor in Paradise in winter. Yeah, Bachelor Summer Games. No, I think they Bachelor in Paradise will overtake that. I mean, I'm all for more Bachelor content, but so yeah, Yuki's not back for bartending. I guess. I guess she got canned. Yeah, having the cameo of Hannah B and Demi before the show talking about her dating life, and then Hannah appearing to give her clarity, was far too obvious a plot written. Well, certainly, I mean, definitely, it's something that was seems to be planned for sure. The only thing we might not or know is whether or not that was filmed after the fact, or before everything was set up. So it's easy to have this sort of happen, and then film something like that afterwards. But definitely, I agree. I've got my tinfoil hat on there. And Kayla, thank you so much for the super chat. Too much information, but I had a bad night and I'm in such a better mood just watching along with your stream. Just want to say thank you for the quality content as always. Oh, thank you so much. It's an awesome message. Thank you for watching, for joining the chat, for being a part of the community. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate supporting the stream and seeing you here multiple times. Really appreciate it. It's fun doing all this stuff with y'all. Wasn't Ashley on Winter Games? Yes, and she was with Kevin, and Ashley was you know I think at the time it wasn't her. She was like a virgin, right? And then there was this kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge that she lost that at the end of Winter Games, and then they broke up. And Ashley, Kevin went on Bachelor in Paradise, and then Ashley showed up in Paradise, not as a contestant, but to get engaged to what's his guts. So, yeah, Derek without facial hair. I think the only reason the producers let Demi and Christian stay is because they want Paradise to be a free space for everyone to explore whoever they want. I mean, yeah. I'm hoping that they're trying to send a message of this is kind of the direction we want to go in the future. We want to be supportive of any and all types of love. Yeah, so and Derek. So Derek, he was on Bachelor in Paradise before, and he was on. I believe it was sorry. What was it? Was it JoJo's season? I think. Am I wrong there? Hold on. Let me just make sure. And then he was on Bachelor in Paradise, and he met Taylor. And they kind of were one of those, like you see every time that everyone talks about, like, they are the strongest couple in Paradise. They were one of those couples. And then they got engaged, not on the show, not during like this sort of rose ceremony thing, but that they have at the end, but on the after the final rose, I guess, or after the Paradise whatever show that they do, and then they broke up. So That's mostly his story here. And Carolyn Needles, thank you so much for the super chat. Is it bad that I only watch the recaps instead of the show some weeks? Well, no, because the recaps will keep you up to date. So if you, so you don't get behind. So they're doing their jobs. That's what they're meant to do. And thank you for supporting the stream. You know, sometimes you don't have 4 hours for Paradise in a week. I almost didn't have that for the first 2 weeks of Paradise, but you know, we made it work. So the recaps can keep you filled in, keep you up to date on that Bachelor gossip, talk around the water cooler or whatever. So, but thanks for watching. And Alexandra, thank you so much for the super chat. If JPJ was single, would you take him on a date? Absolutely. I'll take him on a date still. Let's go. Let's get some tacos. Let's have a nap. Let's go see some Shakespeare. That's what I want to do. I want taco, nap, Shakespeare, JPJ, you and me, then go in his boat right off into the sunset. Let's do it. Yeah, do you watch Jordan and JoJo's new show, Cash Pad? I haven't seen it, but it's on my radar. I have been meaning to. I've got I've got some catching up to do. Like, there's also the Australian Bachelor as well. But I am meaning to check it out. It's been the first couple weeks of August have just been like insanely busy for me, not just with the channel but with other stuff as well. And now, like, that's kind of slowed down a bit. I'm getting more opportunities to catch up with stuff, but of course we, like, you know, the first 2 weeks ended, and then now it's a new week of Bachelor in Paradise. Are you gonna watch Hannah on Dancing with the Stars? I'll definitely be checking it out. Yeah, if I got a date with JPJ, I'd definitely do a live something. Jealous. And speaking of, do you think Tayshia will get jealous next episode? I think so. How jealous? I don't know. She seems pretty chill. But we definitely have seen shots of Tayshia sobbing it out in the previews. Yeah, I love it on After the Finals and JPJ told Hannah, "Don't tell me what to do, Hannah." Yeah, I know. Such a cool guy. My fiance said if JPJ ends up single, he'd leave me for him. You know what? I don't think you can blame him. Or her. For 1 million subs, you should go out with JPJ. Hell yeah. Thoughts on Katie self-sabotaging? I don't think it's a big self-sabotage. I think it you know, it's something, I think, pretty it's a pretty normal thing to do, you know, when you're kind of protective of yourself. I think a lot of what we're seeing is harsher than it's going to be in terms of, like, creating drama, like Chris not knowing what to do, him thinking. I don't think you have to worry about Katie. I think it's a little bit played up a bit. We're just going to ignore Chris Harrison and Demi saying "I love you" to each other. Yeah, I know. And then they were like hugging and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, wow, they're really close. Chris Harrison doesn't just say that to anybody. Yeah, and Katie self-sabotage. I think it was sad to watch, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as we're thinking. I think she's gonna get her man in due time. But yeah, no, it's yeah, like, people do that all the time. It's pretty normal. And again, that's another thing. Like, I think I like Katie because she seems pretty genuine. She seems like she does normal stuff on the show. Like, and by normal I mean, like, relatable, I guess. Yeah, are we gonna are we going to ignore Hannah packing Dylan around the pool? If you didn't see it, I think it was floating around Twitter. I saw it later where uh, Hannah and Dylan were in the pool, but Dylan was like holding on to her with his legs wrapped around her, and she was just like dragging him along in the pool. So, thoughts on rumors that JPJ is a bad kisser? Maybe Tasha teaching him a thing or two? Yeah, maybe. Certainly, like if you check some of the footage, probably like you probably check in my latest video, like she kind of like covers them kissing with her hand. Um, but it appears to be from Hannah's season. We know that there was one bad kisser, and and there are rumors going around that it was John Paul Jones, who they did kiss. We saw it in a preview that John Paul Jones and Hannah kissed, but we never saw it on the show. And then all of a sudden, JPJ was gone. So that's a, that is a rumor, but we've got some evidence. Yeah, finally after five, and this will be like his sixth or something, right? Season, Chris is going to find someone finally. Then he can officially retire. And also, and yeah, and I'm seeing Onyeka's name definitely um, coming out looking a lot better in my opinion than she did on The Bachelor. I don't know if that's edit or whatever or time or yada yada yada. Definitely Onyeka coming out looking better than she did on The Bachelor. Yeah, Taco Nap Shakespeare JPJ boat at sunset. Let's do this. Yep, I'm in. And when you do a face reveal, you should do a live stream while Bachelor airing so we can all watch together and talk on commercials. Yeah. Yeah. All right, everybody, let's get in. Let's chat. I'm sure we can do something fun of that nature. Would you make a video on your favorite Bachelor couples of all time? Yeah, I would. I honestly, it would take a while. Like, I'd have to go through. I've watched a lot of Bachelor. Watched a lot of Bachelor in my day. But, figure out which ones are which. Never liked Chris until this season. He finally seems comfortable in his skin and avoids bonfires. Yeah, I know. He fell, but yeah, they mentioned this last episode as well. He fell into a bonfire in Paradise, or he walked through a bonfire. And, yeah, I don't, like, I've seen him, and, yeah, I never remember being particularly, like, big on him, but, he seems, he seems to be doing pretty well so far this season. Clay and Mike seem like the biggest catches of men on the beach. Don't know why the ladies don't go after them harder. Well, so far, yeah, I know. Certainly with Mike, he seemed like he would be. You would think he would be like a hot commodity going in, but Kaylin kind of dumped him flat, and now he's with Sydney. But they seem to kind of just be sort of hanging out a bit, and Clay's with Nicole pretty hard, but that seems about it for him. Yeah, what happened with the Nuggets? Where are the Nuggets? I haven't seen any Nuggets. When did you start watching the Bachelor franchise? Really, like I really maybe seriously started watching like well, like 5 or like years ago or something like that, or 4 years ago. But then I like binged like a ton, and I had watched it before that as well, but I really started to like get into the like a bit of the analyzing and figuring out who was going to win and all that um, around sort of that time. Alexandra already gave kind of tipsy. I love the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know it's been a lot of Bachelor. There's a lot of rosé to consume over 2 nights of 2 hours of Bachelor. But thank you for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And thanks for coming in and chatting with us and being a part of the community. I really appreciate it. Do any past Bachelorette people still work in their careers, or is it just Instagram dollars for them now? Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. And some do both. Um, I know that Crystal, I saw a thing not too long ago of her like promoting her business. It's like it has to do with fitness. So I think they do. Some of them do multiple things. Some of them don't really focus on the business side of Instagram, but are kind of present there, or Twitter. Like I know Pete went back to being a pilot. What do you think about Dean? Will he redeem himself? Yeah. Remember when he stuck gum in behind his ear and then ate it? Yeah. So Dean, yeah, I think Dean is a bit more hyper aware of being, you know, messing around with people. So apparently there's going to be something with him happening next episode, but I'll look over the footage and see if there's anything I can figure out. But there's some sort of drama with him and Kaylin, but it could just be like someone coming in and nothing really happens. But will he receive a redemption? It appears to be that he leaves with Kaylin based off of some sleuthing. I would say odds are more likely he does than not. But I don't know how big of a redemption he will get. I think he's just kind of cool to chill a bit. Yeah, can you imagine going on a plane and finding out that your pilot is Peter? If I ever hear on a plane like, "Hi, this is your pilot speaking. My name is Peter," I'm gonna flip out. What are you going to? When are you going to grade Hannah's season? I'm gonna do that when, like, honestly, when I get time to fill in. One of the, just kind of the problems to figuring out my scheduling this week is just there's an extra day of videos. But it's on my radar, I promise. And thank you for the super chat. Thanks for supporting, Jessica. Really appreciate it. But I'm definitely going to do it. I can tell you one thing. There will probably be a pretty good grade for Hannah and a low grade for men on the season. So, but I'll figure all that out. Yes, tacos above nuggets. I agree. Tacos are a meal. Tacos, you can get all sorts. You can have nuggets in a taco. So there you go. That should be the final say on that. Yeah, I feel like Dean is not as into Kaylin as she is into him. I'm kind of getting that feeling too. I'm kind of getting that feeling too. But we are going to come now to the end of our stream. It's we're back into the days of getting up nice and early, working on videos. Yeah, she did have good men. She just ignored most of them. That's true. I'll factor in some of the other ones and some of the future knowledge that we have about men. But yeah, there's definitely also some production things that I'm not too fond of as well. But Hannah will get some good marks. How do you think they will change the rose ceremony for Demi? Two things. One, they will either just hand out roses to each other. The thing that I think maybe that is good about that is that, like, if something bad were to happen, they would be able to decide. Like, oh, I don't want to give you a rose, or I don't want to accept your rose this time. Maybe there's an opportunity for drama there, or they just don't get roses, and that they just stay, and that they're like immune. And then maybe there's some other rule, like now the two of them are like wells. You're not allowed to date them or give them your rose or anything like that. So that's my guess, but there's definitely going to be some sort of rule, and it's going to be special treatment for them to stay around. So yeah, Hannah, she was incredibly articulate by the end, much more so than she seemed to be going into it, and I was pleasantly well, shouldn't say surprised, but yeah, surprised. I think she did well. And apparently everyone's at Stagecoach. Friendship roses might be banned. I doubt they will be, because I think the producers kind of liked their friendship roses because it gives an opportunity for people who that they want to keep around, popular people, to stay around longer and potentially have a hookup later if they plan on bringing someone later. And Matt Donald, yes, Matt Donald's going to be coming back. We know he's in the footage. We've got lots. There's so many more people coming in and out. There's like so much more stuff. Do you think Hannah B will ever find love? Absolutely, she will. She will. She'll find her person. She's young. She's got a lot of going on for her. Absolutely. John Paul Jones and Tasha won't last. I think they will. Why aren't you a producer? I don't know. I don't know. Stagecoach 2020 meetup. See you all there. Stagecoach. Bring your binoculars. Bring your cameras. When is Connor going to come? I know, right? We haven't seen any Connor footage. He's got to be coming. Stagecoach is apparently where it happens. Does Wells have a girlfriend? Yes, he does have a girlfriend. He's engaged to Sarah Hyland from Modern Family. So there you go. Imagine if Luke P ended up on Paradise. I hope that would be a week after the show ended. Demi can really say find her person since she likes all person. Yeah. Yeah. And I think she's finding her person, or she's found her person. Yes, Wells is engaged to Sarah Hyland. So that's going to be it for this stream tonight. Thank you all for coming in, for chatting. If you want to still be chatting, I know people are going on to our Discord, which we've just set up. I'm sure someone will link it, or if you can go to the Twitter or my community blast here on Facebook, the invite link is there to join the Discord. The chat will likely be continuing. They might be doing some of the West Coast live chatting at this point. Thanks for coming in, talking, being awesome. See you all at Stagecoach real soon. Until then, Bachelor Fantake out.